Chosen, they wish they would have known your spiritual ranking before they tried you. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zain, and I'm coming on to bring a message for the chosen. If you find that this resonates with you in any way, please be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know how it resonates with your circumstance. So, chosen, there are quite a few people out here who are very, very disappointed in themselves, first of all, because they underestimated your spiritual ranking. And they did that without thinking first. These beings are not only disappointed in themselves, but they're very, very afraid of what's going to happen next now that you understand and recognize who you are and who you have been created to be. When these beings first encountered you, they wrote you off. They wrote you off as being a rookie, right? Someone who just had their head in the clouds, a dreamer, right? They wrote you off as being someone who had no true understanding of your higher self, your lower self, your light, your dark side, right? They really thought that you was just floating without any real direction. And so that gave them a false sense of security and courage when it came to how they moved with you, chosen. A lot of these beings decided that you would become the ultimate sacrifice. And only in some cases is it extreme to the degree where they wanted to take your life type of sacrifice. But many of the cases, the type of sacrifice would have been to sacrifice your wisdom, to sacrifice your destiny, to sacrifice your inheritance, all for the sake of empowering themselves. In some cases, it will be to sacrifice your spiritual gifts. My cardinal just flew past. That's confirmation. In a lot of cases, this is what the objective was for these low vibrational beings. And they really thought that you would never get to that place where you would understand. I just saw cardinal number 2 fly by. They thought that you would never understand the amount of power that you possess because, see, when you first came into your awakening, and of course, this is the case for many of the chosen seed, right? We come through and it's all love, it's all rainbows and gumdrops, and you just want everybody to win. And not saying that you're not still in that mindset, but see, you move differently the more that you awaken. You begin to really establish yourself and step into your authority with some of these beings because you recognize that not everybody is going to operate from the frequency of love. And so you understand that you have to activate your authority over these beings to help them to understand exactly who they're dealing with. But see, these beings thought that you would never rise into that energy. They literally laughed at you. They laughed at you and they thought they don't know nothing, right? They thought that they knew so much. Some of these beings were a little bit more experienced when it came to understanding spirituality, right? They had, at least they thought they did. In the 3D plane, they read more books. They listened to more videos. They sat at the feet of more people, right? And so they thought that because they had more time getting to know that aspect of life, right? The spiritual path. They thought that meant that they had more experience. But see, what they failed to remember is that experience does not begin here in a 3D plane. It doesn't simply begin when you come through your mother's womb. Experience begins many, many lifetimes ago. It began when the Most High Mother and Father crafted and molded you and said, this one right here will go on to do great things. And all of that information and libraries and libraries and libraries of wisdom that you've collected from one lifetime to the next did not go in vain. I guess these beings thought that you was so much of a rookie that they literally forgot the ranking that you had before you even came into this particular realm, right? So they're looking at you as being all innocent and naive, not knowing much, only thinking about gumdrops and lemon drops, and they're just a raven wolf just ready to take over, right? Bloodthirsty, salivating at the idea of sacrificing you for their own personal gain. But little did they know. See, this is the issue too. It took them years. For these beings, it took them years to get even a small fraction of power. And when I say power, I'm talking about to where they've been able to use their manipulative tactics and their spell works and their rituals against the Sleeple, and they saw results, right? That's a small fraction of power. In their minds, they had power because they saw results from working against people. And so they really hyped themselves up. So when they came across your path, they thought it would have been cakewalk. They're like, man, this person right here, they think they know something. Please. It's going to take them years before they can even get to a fraction of the level that I'm at. This is what they were saying to themselves, right? But you ended up soaring past them, taking leaps and bounds when it came to your spiritual understanding and your spiritual expansion. And it just made their heads spin because they don't understand, how is it possible that you have all of these gifts? You have all of this wisdom. You have all of this understanding in such a short period of time. Why? Because they forgot to recognize that this is not your first rodeo. You've been doing this. But see, the Most High packaged you in this package that seems so squeezable and so naive and so innocent, right? See, they was too busy focusing in on the exterior. You would think that out of all of that time that they had been studying the so-called occult and studying, spiritual knowledge behind the scenes, you would think that they would have looked past your physical vessel and understood that there are many layers. There are many layers to people out here. And you do not want to underestimate the gifts that is bestowed upon the chosen seed specifically. But see, they was not able to identify you because you had yet to identify yourself. You were still coming into remembrance. But oh my goodness, when your eyes was cleared and when you got done wiping all of that crust out of your eyes and you begin to see things clearly, when that third eye popped open, oh my goodness. When you begin to speak, you spoke from a space of authority. You spoke from a space of wisdom. You spoke from a space of knowing. And this blew their tops off because they did not understand, where could this person obtain this level of wealth, this wealth of information, this wealth of wisdom in such a short period of time? At whose feet did they sit? Where is the ascended master whose feet they sat at in order to gain this level of understanding, in order to understand alchemy on this level? Whose feet did they sit at? Where did they learn? Right? They got so paranoid about how much you was expanding and how fast you was expanding that they thought that somehow you had flipped it on them and started pulling on their spiritual gifts. Like these people, they outright crazy, y'all. They are outright crazy and foolish. They ended up flipping it and trying to project this energy off onto you and say that then you must have been the one that was stealing gifts, right? That was trying to swap destinies with them, when you would never want to swap destinies with these beings, because their destiny is completely, it's already set in stone. That these beings are getting ready to suffer massive karma. Massive karma, because they have been going around preying on people, preying on the Sleeple and the Sheeple, rather than taking on, some of them had a direct assignment. They was given direct orders to gather this occult wisdom and to use it in a way where they help to awaken and to guide humanity. But they took it and they perverted it. And they got so wrapped up in the idea that they understood the mysteries of the universe better than the average person. And they began to turn it and use it against people. And it made them feel powerful. The moment somebody would look at them wrong, they go back and start doing spell work on them, right? And they saw how these things negatively impacted the sheeple and the sleeple. And so when they came across you, oh my goodness, did they underestimate you? This is a vital lesson to these beings, to never judge a book by its cover, literally. Okay? You all have a library of wisdom that travels back many, 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 many lifetimes. Now they realize that you are the high priest. You are the high priestess whose feet they should have sat at in order to gather some true knowledge from you. Now they identify you and they recognize you. Okay? And this is what's scaring them the most, because they wish that they would have understood who you were when you was presented into their life. But see, they fumbled the ball. They took a fall from grace. And when I tell you they fell, they have fallen extremely hard, and they ain't felt nothing yet. Because see, when you begin to establish that the highest form of righteous judgment will come upon the heads of your enemies, known and unknown, you didn't have to know directly that these beings was working up against you. All you had to do was call judgment upon your enemies, regardless of whether you knew them or not. That's how high ranking you are. That's how high level you are. You don't have to target. You ain't got to target practice with nobody. You just put the intention out there, make it known to the Most High Mother and Father and your spiritual team, and it is done. So now you better believe the word is going to spread real fast about you, chosen. You will be in the mouth and on the minds of many of these beings who thought that they had some sort of power or ranking over you. You will be the discussion in many of these rooms as they sit back pondering, scratching their head, trying to figure out how is it possible that even when they joined together and collaborated and conspired together, they still was not able to pull all of their little low-ranking power together to overcome one being. And so now that they have been able to sort through and recognize that this you not just anybody. They are looking at each other, going against one another, because they all recognize that, damn, somebody should have been able to identify you. All of these beings that's sitting around acting like they got spiritual gifts, like they so intuitive, they so tapped in, and none of them could identify a divine being when they saw one. None of them took a step back and said, hold up, wait. Now we done did a ritual or two against this person. And why is it that every time we do a ritual, this person comes back harder and stronger? Why is it that every time we do a ritual, every time we go and check in on this person, they're glowing more, they're growing more, they're higher in their level of understanding? How is it and why is it that every time we do a ritual against this person, things backfire against us in ways and levels that we have never seen or understood? What is happening here? None of them, out of all of these so-called spiritual beings, could recognize and discern such obvious evidence. So now they question themselves. Now they recognize, oh, they're not as powerful as they thought they was. You have humbled, chosen. You have humbled beings that were, shoot. It's been lifetimes and these beings have not been able to be humbled. You have humbled the most stubborn, bull-headed, Turkey neck. I just heard turkey neck. We got to throw that up in there because I heard it. Okay. Ignorant beings. They have been humbled in your presence, chosen. And so now, word will spread. People will understand not to mess with you. And there will be some foolish ones that's going to say, you know what? I heard that person is powerful, but you know what? I think I want to run in. I think I want to get in the ring. And that's going to be the dumbest decision they could ever make. Because see, what's going to happen is you're going to end up pulling a one-hitter quitter. And it's going to be knockout within the first 10 seconds. And they're getting ready to embarrass the hell out of themselves. Okay, I'm talking about in a major way. It's going to be real painful just off the strength that they decided to run into the fire after being warned. See, at least with the other ignorant beings, they didn't have no warning, right? They just automatically chopped you up as being this little weakling, this little naive being. But I'm talking about the ones that get word, they get wind of who you are. And they still froggy enough to jump. They're going to get taken out with a one-hitter quitter. And it's going to be the most embarrassing thing for these beings. That's if they even come back from it, y'all. Because this could be a permanent knockout where they don't even wake up from this one. The Most High might just decide, you know what? You want to keep on messing with mine? And I'm going to go ahead and give you a permanent knockout. Okay? I think I got another love TKO. Okay? It's over with. Let them come in because, see, you're locked and loaded, chosen. You know who you are. And your spiritual team, oh my goodness, when I tell you, I just got a visual. They are backing you. You started off with a small number. Your spiritual team is so deep. It is so deep. It is like if you've ever seen those armies in China and it looked like it's just a whole bunch of ants. There's so many of them, right? But see, the vision that I got, we're talking about giants. You have so many divine beings and ancestors that are surrounding you. I'm talking about angels, ancestors, universal, elemental, and cosmic spirits of love and righteous war. I'm talking about the type of army that you have surrounding you is so deep that you don't even have to lift a finger if you don't want to. But sometimes, just for the sake of reminding yourself that you still got it, you might just go ahead and get in the ring. You might just go ahead and get in the ring and tell your spiritual team, you know what, just y'all kick back, grab some popcorn and just watch the show. It ain't gonna last long because it's gonna be the 10-second one hit a quitter. But just enjoy and watch the show. These beings better recognize who they're dealing with. They better understand that your assignment is far greater than their ego. And while their ego would like for them to say that they are the most powerful and that there's none greater and that they're the ones that's supposed to be having XYZ and XYZ, these spiritual gifts and this, that, and the third. The Most High said, you possess these gifts because you will not pervert them. You will not corrupt them. You will not allow your ego to take over in a way where you misuse and abuse your gifts and misuse and abuse others with them. Your divine calling stretches beyond yourself. It is for humanity. It is for your lineage. It is for your offspring. And you will fulfill your divine assignment. These beings do not hold a candle to you. They cannot. They cannot. And this is not about ego. This is just about understanding hierarchy and ranking. And there's a certain amount of respect that needs to be placed. Let's just keep it real. It's not about ego. This is about hierarchy and ranking. And now that these beings recognize who you are, they're looking at themselves like mere peons in your presence. So those, like I said, who feel like, hey, they can't let it go, they just won't die to that unhealthy ego. They just can't let it go. Let them run into the fire because they're going to get burned. They're not invincible. The Most High, matter of fact, I just heard they're very disposable. They are disposable beings. So if they want to test it out to see, and some of them will, let them go ahead and try you. That's my message for you all. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. And I will talk to y'all next time.